how I increased my property portfolio through smarter buying. So this story started back in 2016. Like most buyers, I had limited borrowing capacity and I wanted to get a smarter property, something that could help me expand my portfolio. What I didn't want to do is buy something that locked up my finances for the best part of a decade, because you have to pay down a loan before you can buy your next property. So my strategy was to buy a property that you could add dwellings to. And what I mean by dwellings is a separate unit, a unit that you can subdivide. It has its own meters, so it has its own gas bill, water bill, its own electricity. And you have the option of selling one unit and keeping the other. So back in 2016, I purchased this property, purely had the intention of making it a rental. So when selecting this property, I made sure it had certain specs that would allow me to propose a second dwelling to council. My intent was to build that second unit, renovate the old front property and sell it off. Keep the rear unit as an investment property. So once all said and done, I sell that front property, the profit made would keep me away from negative gearing. It would pay down my loan enough where the rent of unit 2 would cover my loan. So in late 2016, I got to work. I had a draftsman submit the plans to council for a new dwelling at the rear of unit 1. So while that was at play, I was busy renovating unit 1. I had done the landscaping, painting in the interior. I replaced the whole bathroom. And then to keep my cash flow going while I was waiting for unit 2's plans to get approved, I leased out unit 1. And that was a lifesaver when it came to balancing the books every month. And with a lot of back and forth over 12 months from the council, we finally had an approval to start building unit 2. I pretty quickly found a builder that could take on the project, and it took another 12 months from there to finish the project. By mid-2018, I had a new rental sitting in the back of unit 1. So once I'd completed the construction project and put tenants in unit 2, I basically sold unit 1 as soon as I could. That helped me pay down my loan. So here's a quick overview of what I'd gained from this project. So I gained about 35% of a capital increase on the value of both of the properties. For a period of time, I had a really high rental cash flow until I sold unit 1. Once I paid down my loan, my property was positively geared. For an extra cost of about 40% of unit 1's purchase value, I'd added a second dwelling to another property. And the main benefit to all this was that I didn't have to pay stamp duty on the second dwelling. You can also get really good tax incentives when it comes to depreciating the value of all the interior fixtures and fittings of a brand new property. So if you remember from the start of my clip, I was in a bit of a grind where I couldn't increase my portfolio because of my borrowing capacity. So once I'd completed this whole project and had a positively geared property, I actually could borrow more money because my finances weren't being drained by a single property.